Hi guys, so Starmer presented his solution to the cost of living crisis. As we heard before, the price cap would be frozen at £2,000 for the typical household. The Labour leader said the cost of such a policy would come in at just under £30 billion. When asked about how he would fund it, Starmer said in part the current windfall tax on energy companies will be backdated to the beginning of the year, and the £400 that Rishi Sunak had planned to give people would be cut. As we know, the response from the Tories when it comes to the front-runner and likely successor to Boris Johnson, Liz Truss, she's in favour of tax cuts, which will do nothing to help people on the lower end of the income scale. BBC Radio 4 heard from Paul Johnson, an economist at the Institute for Fiscal Studies, about this plan that Starmer is presenting. But while he said it needed to be in place for about a year and could cost more than the furlough scheme, it was a good step forward. Have a listen.
That's frankly more than we've had from the government or the candidates for the premiership. So in a sense, you could argue they've gone above and beyond what they needed to do. They're talking about a number of ways of funding this. I have no sense, to be honest, of whether they can get what they would say from a windfall tax on energy companies, though I think there is a case for such a tax, and it may well be able to bring in more than we're getting at the moment.
So not a lot to say there, but yes, at least the Labour Party is doing something, while Liz Truss is doing nothing, and Rishi Sunak, while it seems he's hoping to present some boost to incomes, it's likely that he will not become the next Prime Minister. So we're talking really about Boris Johnson, who's doing nothing at the moment, and Liz Truss, who's talking about tax cuts, and not in favour of any sort of bonus or any sort of boost to people's incomes. It's important that somebody stands up, and it's good that the Labour Party and Keir Starmer, its leader, have actually presented something and presented some funding, some way of funding it as well. But will it be enough? We don't know. And will Boris Johnson's government accept it? Of course not. Will Liz Truss's government accept it? Perhaps. We've seen before when Keir Starmer talked about a lockdown, going into lockdown during the pandemic, the Labour Party presented a policy, it was ridiculed by the Tories, and eventually Boris Johnson's government accepted it and took it on board. We're seeing the same with the windfall tax. So there is a possibility that if Liz Truss takes over, eventually she may impose such a windfall tax and try and provide some sort of support to people to keep a lid on civil unrest. But it may be too little too late. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.